G'day guys, my name's Tills20 and welcome to Parkitect. It has been about 5 months since I've released a Parkitect video or even played the game, and I've been dying to get back into it. Really enjoy Parkitect, I think it's an amazing game, and it just sort of took the backseat of my channel because I really didn't have the time to be playing it, and all of a sudden it's been 5 months since I've even loaded up this save, and I'm really excited to get back into it now that my work schedule's starting to chill out a little bit more and got a bit more free time. Plus, the new DLC, which looks amazing, is going to fit really nicely for this theme park, which I'm going to have to reintroduce to you guys because I think it's been about, well, it's been 5 months since you've seen it, and this even might be the first time you're seeing it, if you're new to my channel. So, this is $2 Studios. This is a theme park based on Warner Brothers Movie World in the Gold Coast in Australia, and it's not really a recreation, it's more just inspired by. I wanted to create a movie park where I was sort of building the rides and the themes all based around movies and TV shows, but you know, not exclusively. I would like it to be pretty loose with its theming, which we're going to get into in this episode, so we're going to do some theming. So, yeah, this is a park based on Warner Brothers Movie World. Really love the general layout. I put a lot of work into designing this map and designing how everything looked because I wanted it to look as realistic as possible. That's sort of the aim of this whole series, is to build a realistic park. Got this really cool hotel over here that's going to be linked up with the monorail when we get all that sorted. And I mean, like, really only have the bare bones of it because we pretty much only built a bit of it and then we stopped building this series. So there's a lot I want to do. And I've done a little bit off camera and pretty much built all this area, which is completely temporary. I only plan to have this here until I make a decent amount of money, and then I'll demolish it as we go along. So this will stay for a little while, and we're going to move somewhere else and build up in this section over here as we start developing out my first themed land for $2 Studios, which is actually going to be using the props from the new adventure theme in that was introduced with the new DLC. Some really great rides as well that we now have access to, like this one here and this clockwork. Yeah, a very cool looking ride, which I think is going to fit into a whole bunch of different themes. There's also a whole bunch of roller coasters, like new ones, which I'm sure you've all seen. They're really great, but I'm not going to be touching the roller coasters in this episode. Instead, I'm probably going to be mostly just focusing on developing out this land, extending out the path as well so it's connected up. So this land is going to be an adventure-themed area, and I'm thinking it's going to be sort of like based around Indiana Jones-esque, Tomb Raider. We're going to use some of those Mayan props as well because they're really nice. If I can find some of them. I mean, just some of these. I mean, I haven't even looked at a lot of them. Would love to do a Jurassic Park or dinosaur themed area at some point, but I think that's probably a little bit ambitious at this stage. We'll talk about names and we'll talk about what this whole area is all about in the time lapse, because I think it's going to take me a while until I really figure out exactly the type of place that I am building. I just know that I really want to use some of these props here because I think they are really quite cool. And I think it's going to be somewhat of a Mayan themed area surrounded by a big, not a big river, but like a little river that's going to surround the whole land. And I also want to play around with this bad boy right here, the new River Rapids, because that's a very cool looking ride and something that I think would be really cool to travel around the outskirts of the themed area. So with all that said, let's get into the build. Alrighty, so kicking off the time lapse, you can see that there is now a massive body of water in the middle of $2 Studios, and I ended up doing that off camera, not intentionally, just forgot to hit record, but basically I decided that I wanted a big lake within $2 Studios, because I've actually been getting a lot of inspiration from Islands of Adventure in Orlando, and I've been taking little bits of inspiration from this place, like here and there, but for this build in particular, I've just thought that it would be really cool to kind of follow the same sort of layout. And I also really like the way that the worlds are split up in Islands of Adventure. I just think that's like a really Really great way to sort of show that there are different lands and themes within the theme park. And I wanted to take bits of inspiration from that. So I won't be like going full massive big lake in the middle. I end up toning this down a bit so that it won't be heart and center of Tudor Studios. But yeah, we now have a lake. So if you're just wondering why that is sitting there. And I ended up doing some pretty cool things around this lake in next week's episode, which I've already built. I'll talk a little bit about that in later in this time lapse. But for now, just figuring out where the general layout of this land's going to sit. Just using roads just to like figure that out, and they're generally pretty temporary at this stage, and we'll kind of come back and work around it. Something that I mentioned in the live play was I wanted this area to be themed to like a bit of a lost kingdom. I wanted it to be a bit Mayan with these temples, and I would love you guys to kind of come up with a bit of an idea of what this place is about, because in my mind it is like this lost jungly kingdom. I wanted there to be these Mayan ruins. I didn't want it to be set in like the Mayan kingdom. Instead I wanted it to really feel like it was like this jungle, and as you walk through the gates of this themed area, it feels like you are an explorer rediscovering, or like maybe the first person to rediscover this like forgotten kingdom. And you know, a lot of the rides are going to be focused around you know, archaeological digs and the dangers you might find when entering into a tomb, or the dangers of a forest, that sort of stuff. And I think like an Indiana Jones ride would be really cool somewhere around here. And I've got a couple of other ideas for other sort of rides that we could end up placing around. But what you can see me working on right now is the layout for the river rapids. Now this is something I really wanted to place down in Parkitect a long time ago, so I was really excited when they introduced that they were bringing the river rapids ride to the game. So I just thought that'd be really cool to have this river rapid ride to snake its way around the land, as if it was like a raging river snaking its way around the jungle. And I thought it'd be really cool to have some paths going to the top of it, and it snakes in and out of some big mountains. There's also wanted there to be like quite a lot of mountains in this area too, so we're going to be doing a lot of rock work and things like that. So that is like my idea going into this area, but still it's going to take me a little while to develop it out. So very much open to suggestions, and if you have any ideas for names or other rides we can be placing down, then yeah, I'm all ears. So I wanted the entrance to this world, or this land, to be a little bit grand and to really set the scene. So it's almost like as soon as you walk over this river, then you are sort of met with the Mayan temple. And we're going to be placing down a fair bit of jungle. There's some really great trees that are now introduced within this expansion pack, and I was really excited to work with them. So they create some really nice ground cover. And what you can see me doing right now is working on the main entrance. I wanted it to be grand, and I wanted it to be really obvious, like the sort of land you're walking into, but I didn't really want it to be like massive. It wasn't going to be a massive castle or a massive ruin. I just wanted it to be like a gateway into it. And I also wanted the gate to feel like it was the gates into the complex of the ruins. So, you know, it is like the gate going into it in terms of the theme park. But, you know, I also wanted there to be like a bit of a wall going around the entire complex too, as if it was like a Mayan ruin. And as much of like the like immersion I really wanted to develop, I also wanted to make it look like it is still a theme park. So you won't really see it so much in this episode, but when we start developing out this area, there will be like a lot of behind the scenes elements to this theme, this whole area. And you know, that's the sort of stuff I really like to build in Parkitect, is that behind the scenes stuff, the supports, the rides, the ride maintenance, and all the backdrops behind the shops too, which I think is some really interesting aspect of this game, and that I really like to, you know, work on too. Don't want to just pretend that this place is just some magical kingdom. I do want it to also feel like it is a theme park. But much like my City Skylines work that I do, I'm really big on creating atmosphere and story, and really make this place come alive so that you guys can really imagine yourselves visiting a place like this, but also creating that immersion for the guests too. You know, I'm really interested in you know, creating an immersive experience for not just you guys, but what would be the guests coming into this kingdom, and you know, imagining what it must be like for guests at the park, and trying to create that experience, which is also you guys as well, which is sort of why I'm building these videos in the first place. Now I'm starting to work on a bit of the foliage work around here, going to my usual tricks of using this. I can't remember what this tree was, but it's originally pink, and just coloring it green just makes like a really fantastic looking tree. Placing it down underneath the ground too, yeah, doing a bit of rhyming as well. But basically, if you lower these down so that just the trunk's hidden, you can create some really nice foliage that sits underneath these trees. The new expansion pack actually released some really nice ferns that fit in really fantastically into this environment too. And also a lot of the colors you can see that I'm using, so this red brick that I am using for this temple, I end up changing that. My process of building in Parkitect is that I place everything down and then I recolor it afterwards, so I'm not getting too hung up on the colors just yet. Parkitect makes it really easy to just brush everything over once you've finished building it all. So yeah, this episode's not too big, so sorry about that. This is really just an introduction into me getting back into the game. It took me a while to figure out how to play the game again, and explore Tudor Studios again, and get all that up and running and functioning, and making some money, which you can see me making and spending at the same time. But that is pretty much it for this episode. It was a bit of a shorter one, so apologies. Next week's one will be much longer. But if you have enjoyed this one, then don't forget to leave some nice feedback by rating up the video. That actually helps me out a lot and lets me know if you're enjoying the content. So thank you for doing that. And if you're new to my channel, first time watching it, then maybe consider subscribing so you can follow along with the journey as we build in Parkitect, and you can check out some of my other series that I have on the channel. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.